Microphone. Yeah, you never know.
All right, hi everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
All right.
Good. You tired?
No.
Okay. I was just at a conference for 2 days. By the end of it, I was pretty tired. So.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ericka. I work for an organization called Mentor New York, and I'm glad to be here today. So we are going to talk about mentoring mindset, which is a concept that we've come up with, and we'll talk about growth mindset and how it fits into that as well. So I'll tell you about the work we do, tell you a little bit about the research. We'll define the term of mentor, which I'm sure everybody has their own definitions for that. We'll talk about mentoring mindset, get you to think maybe a little bit differently about how you show up in your work with young people. We'll get into growth mindset and then also building social capital. That's me. So Mentor New York, we are an affiliate of Mentor National. There are 23 of us affiliates across the country. So if you have friends in other states who do similar work that you do and you think they might be interested in our work, I'm happy to make a connection for you. So we do a number of different things. So we provide guidance on developing and enhancing youth mentoring practices. We do workshops, webinars. I don't have any webinars scheduled July and August, but I'll start up again in September. Those are free, you can join, they're all about lots of different topics related to youth mentoring. We also host different opportunities for peer learning and connection. We know that people like to be together in person and to talk about this work, and so we host opportunities for that whenever we're able to, and then we advocate for mentoring across New York State whenever we can. Our value statement that we start all of our workshops with. We believe that young people are brilliant and have potential. We know that every individual has different circumstances in life that can impede their growth and access to opportunity. Investing in young people through caring and intentional relationships can provide access to new opportunities and support their capacity to thrive. So, as I mentioned, we are an affiliate. There's 23 of us affiliates across the country, which is great because it provides access to fantastic resources, particularly research. So Mentor National has done a lot of different research, which you can find through that QR code. But one of the more recent surveys that they did, I'm sorry, everybody, I have to go back and forth between my notes, which is on two different screens. So we did, a few years ago, we did something called Who Mentored You? And it showed that nearly 1.8 million young people are growing up without adult support. And of over 2,400 participants in that study, they said that naturally occurring mentoring relationships are about 3 times more likely to be cited than programmatic mentors. So this research showed that people, all of us who are in the community being mentors, just kind of naturally through whatever circumstances it is, are making a bigger impact than those mentors who are coming specifically through a program. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about mentoring mindset, because we know that we can have there are one-to-one mentoring relationships. I worked in the professional Big Brothers Big Sisters world for a long time, right? So there is one-to-one mentoring relationships, but we also know that mentoring happens in so many different ways. Through these naturally occurring mentoring relationships, through peer mentoring, through group mentoring, there's so many different ways that it happens, and we don't want to minimize any of it. In the mentoring field, there always was a focus on one-to-one mentoring. We're finally starting to broaden that, to see that there's impact in all of this. So, we're going to talk about mentoring mindset in a minute. But when we talk about what is a mentor? So these are, I think when we talk about mentor, we have thoughts in our mind of who's our mentor, or who are we mentoring, or whatever, right? So the two women on the left are my mentors that I think about most often. Sharon at the top was my first professional mentor. Brenda is my current boss, and she's my mentor right now. At the top is Michaela. I met her in 2011 when she was in second grade. She told me she was going to go to Harvard to be a lawyer. She got into Harvard but chose Princeton. She graduated a few weeks ago. She's amazing. And this is Michaela and I in November. We are not in touch all the time, but we are in touch from time to time. Something that Brenda right here says often is that we don't decide, that young people are the ones who decide who are their mentors. So when I went to Princeton to see Michaela in November, she introduced me as her big sister. And that was her choice. I was gonna introduce myself as a friend, right? But that was her choice to introduce me as a big sister. So when we talk about this mentoring, we also wanna think about who are young people saying are their mentors. We can be in their life as a mentor figure, but they are ultimately deciding who their mentors are. When we think about mentor, let's just yell out some traits. When you think about mentor, what words come to mind? Guidance. Support, yes.
Motivation.
Direction.
Motivation, direction.
Helper.
What was that?
Helper.
Yeah, helper, yep.
Non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Structure.
Structure.
A friend.
A friend, yeah. And it can be a really tricky role, right? It can be a really tricky role. So, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into it. Thank you all for grace. I'm navigating this. All right. So when we talk about mentoring mindset, it is these 4 key areas that create a mentoring mindset. We can use these in our work with young people who we consider our mentees, right? But we also talk about mentoring mindset because we know that so many people are working with young people in a capacity that isn't one-to-one mentoring, right? So that's why we're talking about it. Just as a different way to approach our work with young people. So there's 4 key areas to this. The first is that we're intentional in the way that we do this relationship, that we're supportive and they know that we are there as a support for them. That we are, with developmental, we talk about growth mindset, that we're helping to develop them. And also communal, that we know that they know that we are there for them. And that's also where we talk about building social capital. So when we talk about intentionality, this is when we're really thinking about, how we show up. Are we fully present in these interactions with young people? We're being very intentional about how we're showing up in those spaces so that they know that we are there for them. Okay? All right. You all have spent 2 days together. I imagine that a number of you know each other. Maybe all of you know each other. But let's take a step back from that for a minute. Can you please write on a piece of paper, or you can type it on your phone, the 3 most important things to you. So write down the 3 most important things to you on a piece of paper. Three most important things to you are just 3 things about you. Okay, 3 things. groups, raise your hand once you have those done. Okay, everybody, what you're gonna do in 30 seconds is stand up. Okay, and then you're gonna stand up, find somebody to talk to that you don't know or don't know all that well. And you're gonna introduce or talk about yourself to that person without using those things that you just wrote down. Okay? So everybody out, find somebody you don't know or don't know that well. Talk about yourself, but don't say those things you just wrote down. All right, everybody, one more minute. So if you haven't already introduced yourself, please switch. All right, everybody, please have a seat. Let's wrap up the conversation. So please have a seat. Thank you. All right, everybody, please take a seat. You'll get back up and talk again in a couple minutes. How was that? How was that activity? What was it like talking about yourself without those things? Easy? Okay. Intimidating, yeah? Yeah. I think it can depend on personalities, is what I found. For some people, it's easy, it's a good challenge. For other people, it's tricky. Because those are the things that we're used to leading with, those are the things that we're used to sharing. And so not sharing those things is a shift, right? So we do this activity because we like you to think about how are you creating spaces for young people to show up that they can share what they want. They can show up as they are, and they can share those things that they are comfortable sharing. And we know that that doesn't happen right away for everybody, right? But over time, how can we create those spaces that young people will be comfortable coming in as they are and sharing those things that they are comfortable sharing? Just like all of you. All right, everybody, next part of mentoring mindset. So the first one was intentionality. How are we showing up intentionally for young people so they know we're there for them? The next part is supportive. So how do they know, how do we show up so they know that we are there as a consistent support in their lives? When we talk about this, we also talk about, because we know that we all have these, right? Distracting us all the time. We're talking about active listening. We're also talking about sharing power as much as possible, which I get is not always possible depending on the context of where you are working with young people. But how can we share power as much as possible, okay? So with supportive, so this on the left, this is Fred, who works for our national office. So when we talk about being supportive, we're talking about, like I said, being consistent. The consistency matters so much, that we're fully present as much as possible, right? We know that authenticity matters. Young people know when we're authentic or not, and we're showing up in a curious way as much as possible as well. The next activity that we're gonna do, I hid the slide, so we're not gonna see it, but we're gonna do it. Has anybody ever done Tiny Teach? Okay, so you are each gonna take turns teaching something for 2 minutes in small groups. The thought of having, I know that I'm in front of you all, but if I was in a workshop and somebody told me to get up in front of a group, no way. I couldn't do it. So think about something that you can teach to your partner in 2 minutes. Is that a phrase in a different language? Is it a dance? Is it a hobby that you've taken on? And maybe teach. You can also think about what is something that you can talk to them about. I am getting some bad looks right now. Just saying. When you can talk about, yeah, whatever it is that you want, but something in your life that you can share with someone else. How are we doing? Anybody have ideas? You're gonna partner up with somebody, yeah? But just come up with ideas for right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you how to put your program.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So,
I'll show you how.
find a partner.
He's gonna show me how to play.
Just one person, so everybody has time. I know it's awkward. I promise you most people will come back and have fun with it. Okay? So find a partner so everybody can take a turn. Does everybody have a partner?
I'm your partner, so you should find your own partner. I took your partner. I stole your partner.
All right, first partner.
There's only a few women.
Can you raise your hand if you're the first partner? First partners. Yes. More hands, y'all. More hands. First partner. Who's the first partner?
He's the first partner. Who's the second partner?
All right. Okay, first partner. I'm going to set a timer. You're going to talk about that thing for 2 minutes. Does anybody have questions? It's going to get loud. right, everybody, go. First partner, go. 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, show me how to play the accordion.
So you have the diatonic, you have 10 buttons.
10 buttons.
Right, going down like this, you press them up and up, right?
10 buttons.
And then the third one down, watch, no, you gotta watch over here, you gotta watch here.
Okay.
So you have from the third one down, each button is 2 notes. So do, re, you press in and you pull out. So the accordion you press and you pull. So
okay.
this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. But this is E. So even if it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you push it down, you push down, it's one note, and you pull out, it's another note. So even if it's like 8 of them, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. When you have 4 buttons, but you have 2 notes. 8 notes because each one is 2. So if I brought it in later on, you will pull it out. So that's 2. Do, re, that's 1 button. Mi, fa,
Sol, la, ti.
so you have 8 notes, but you only 4 buttons.
And the 8 notes, what? That becomes an octave, right? Is that an octave?
Well, that's probably a little beyond. The octaves, I don't know how many notes make an octave. But
I think it's 8. That's why I say octave. I think, yeah.
so if I had actually brought it inside the building, then you would have done it.
That's right. That might be. How far is your car? Man, go get it.
Okay, then
Go get it.
you have to go to the door.
All right. Oh, we got a good one. Yes, we got a good one. Wait till you see this.
All right, partner number 2, you are up. Partner number 2, time to switch and you teach.
Okay.
So there it is.
Okay, great. Now, number 2 is supposed to teach. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to expound, because I used to take piano lessons. So I'm going to expound on what I was telling you about
The octave.
with the octave. Because I remember in my lessons that 8 notes was considered an octave. Okay? So basically, when we do the do, re,
All right,
mi,
everybody,
fa,
let's
sol,
wrap
la,
up these
ti,
lessons.
that is considered an octave. How about that? Okay? So now,
All right.
this is going to be very interesting.
So the first one you got to push in.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
All right, how'd it go?
Push in.
Anybody? Oh, we have something over here that we're gonna learn. What did you learn? What, like, actually?
Second
in
from
the
the
lesson?
top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Love it. What else did people learn? Yes.
Okay.
So you can act like you
How to identify
put your thumb in here.
your feelings. Nice. Cool. Cool. What
Thumb in
else?
here. Oh.
A perfect grilled cheese. That is a really important skill. Yes.
then
Yes.
Third
I love
one.
you'll be
it.
Third
pushing
one.
in.
Now you can go
Press
home
in
and do it
first.
right.
Okay.
Anybody else? What else did you learn?
Oh, in and out, in and out.
Yes.
Okay.
In and out. You put it down.
Sorry.
Oh. Okay. All right. So how to plant hydrangeas? Yeah. All right. Interesting. Interesting. All right. I think there's some teaching that wants to happen for all of us here.
All right. This is number one.
Okay.
I'm number two, okay?
Okay.
He just showed me how to, he just showed me how, or taught me how to
I got it.
play the accordion. And he showed me that,
So he's gonna try to play do re mi after
all right,
in and out.
ready? Do,
Do in the first one in.
that's the first one.
Come on.
And, okay, ready? Check this out. Hold it. Hold it. When I was young, when I was younger, I took piano lessons, and he didn't realize that he was teaching me what they consider an octave.
That is true. That is true.
Right? So what he taught me was to play an octave on the accordion, but what I taught him is that what he taught me was an octave.
Very good. Well said. Well said.
Directional learning happens. Cool. So we do this activity because I always get like people's shoe looks at me when I explain it. Okay. We do it for a couple reasons. Ideally, mentoring happens. We are learning as much from mentees or young people as they're learning from us. And so we do this very intentionally, and hopefully it worked. It doesn't always, right? Sometimes lessons go longer. But hopefully you each had a chance to learn from each other, to show this bidirectional. It also is a way to share power, right? I'm kind of inherently, I'm standing up here, I'm leading this. But when we do this, I'm sharing power, and you all are learning from each other. So are there ways to share power with or to do
Absolutely.
something like this, right?
Absolutely.
Right? We all have something to teach. So Brenda, who is up here, is our CEO. We were at our conference, like I mentioned, her daughter was there, and Brenda said she has to do stuff on social media. Brenda and I are both Gen X. We both hate social media. It takes us hours to come up with what we have to put on. I mean, it's embarrassing and ridiculous. Her daughter said to her, Mom, I can do it all for you in an hour. It's gonna take you hours, I can do it in an hour. It's so much quicker, right? So are we able to lean into the expertise and the knowledge of young people in a different way than maybe you already are? All right, next part of mentoring mindset is developmental. I feel like that comes with a different connotation, but when we talk about this, it's that we are helping to develop the young people in our lives. Depending on your role with young people, that is what you do. But are there ways to think about it maybe a little bit differently, or the same? So we're gonna go into, talk about a couple different things. We're gonna talk about growth mindset. Before we get into that, we're gonna talk about a strengths-based approach, okay? What is one of your strengths? Tell us.
Verbalization.
Verbalization, awesome. What else?
Patience.
Patience, yes, matters. I heard something over here. Listening,
Bringing people together.
bringing people together, awesome.
Empathy.
Empathy, me Me too. Compassion. Nurture, I feel like there was something at that table back there. How many of you are used to thinking of yourselves in terms of the things that you have to fix rather than your strengths? I do. Okay. So, yes, has anybody done Strengths Finder? Yeah. Did you like it?
I liked it and I didn't because I felt like it told all my business like I should.
It does.
It was extremely accurate. That accuracy, like it's like, oh wow, you just told on my, oh wow, hey. Yeah, it was a very vulnerable place to be, but it was extremely accurate. I've also done this in the past.
Okay.
That was another one that was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's my strength.
Right.
So yeah, with Strengths Finder, it was very accurate.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. About you.
See,
Yeah.
but I like it a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it also depends on the context where we do it, right? If like you have to do it professionally and you have to share your results and don't want to share that, it's vulnerable. You know?
And in the facilitator's defense, she kept it in general.
Okay.
So she only knew it was me because I was like, oh wow, so I kind of told her myself. So she
Got it.
kept the results very general.
Oh, good.
So we didn't have to share with everyone, but it was like, so yeah, in her defense, she didn't single me out. I just told her.
Yeah, sure. So Strengths Finder is super cool, but there also is the High Five Strengths Assessment that you can do for free. I've done both. Our national office paid for us all to do the Strengths Finder thing, but the High Five Strengths Assessment, I've worked with programs that have done it with the young people in their programs. Honestly, the questionnaire is a little annoying. There's a whole lot of questions about your preferences. It takes about 15 minutes, but once you get through it, you can get some results for free, and it is really interesting. And for people that are used to thinking about themselves with what they have to fix or what is wrong, it's a really empowering way to think about ourselves. My number one for that is empathy, but I often go to like, yeah, empathy is good and it helps me, but then it also is really hard this way. So, if we think about this, when we talk about this developmental piece of mentoring mindset, we like to think about it in particular that we're thinking about a strengths-based perspective with the young people that we work with, or anybody, right? I try this with my kids too. And then we're talking about growth mindset, and we'll do an activity around that as well, okay? If you think about a person in your life right now, it can be a young person or not, who is particularly challenging for you.
I got an nephew.
Okay, let's flip it. Tell me what their strengths are. Tell me one of their strengths.
Independent.
Independent. Academics. Okay. Consistent. Caring. Anybody else? Somebody super challenging in your life. What is?
Resilient.
Resilient. Optimistic. Dependable. Does it help us to think about them in terms of that strength instead of all of our frustrations? Sometimes, maybe, no. Maybe it will for some people. All right, growth mindset. Who can tell us about growth mindset? I imagine many of you know about it. Can anybody tell us fixed mindset, what fixed mindset is? I'll tell you, but if you know, I don't want to.
They're not open to change.
Yes, not open to change, complacent, yes. How about growth mindset? Optimistic?
Yeah.
Open-minded.
Open-minded? Yeah. So when we talk about fixed mindset, as you said, we're staying still. We're holding on to whatever it is, and we're not moving. We're not being open-minded about it. I'm not talking about this in a way that I suggested that we all need to look at everything through sunshine and rainbows. It's not realistic, not at all. But can we think about, is it possible to think a little bit more in terms of growth mindset? Okay, so when we talk about fixed mindset, it's that we are not able to change. With fixed mindset, we might avoid challenges, we might give up easily, we also might avoid feedback that could be helpful to us. When we talk about a growth mindset, we have to accept that we might be able to. People will persist more in obstacles, also learn more from criticism. They actually have seen in brain scans that people who have a fixed mindset when they're getting feedback, their brains don't really light up, but people with more of a growth mindset, their brains light up to feedback. So we learn from it. So where are you right now? Where are you? We have growth mindset over here. We have fixed mindset over here. It goes back and forth. Depends on the day, depends on the situation, right? Goes back and forth. Where are you hanging out right now? Anybody? I didn't hear you.
I think this is designed for growth.
Designed for growth.
This whole situation here.
Hopefully. Yeah. Anybody else? Where are you hanging out? Yes.
I was selling commercial green. Saturday yellow commercial green.
All right, cool. Sounds good. If you think about something that you have to do, let's just talk about work. You think about something for work that you have to do that you really, really don't want to do. How often do we hang out here? We don't want to do it, we don't want to start it, right? And if we're here, then we're not going to do it. We can move over this way. Maybe we start it or have a better attitude, or we put some good music on, maybe it gets us going. So, our national office worked with mindsetkit.org, which has some cool stuff on it, to create a growth mindset kit. Some of the research that they have in this shows that mindset impacts the way that people approach training and learning, also social skills, okay? So they saw that people with more of a growth mindset retain their confidence when faced with challenges, are more open to taking risks because they're not expecting perfection, are more resilient when dealing with a setback because that's expected. There will be, and how do we grow from those? Also, more readily emphasize learning and development more than showing off. So my career, I worked at Big Brothers Big Sisters for a long time. I was in the higher ed world for a long time, now back in mentoring. But when I was an adjunct at RIT, and I worked with students who were on their way out of the university academically. They had one semester left. They were part of our this college restoration program. And we taught two classes. One was motivation and wellness. The other one was academic skills. In that class, we had a pretty small class. I asked the students, how many of them were told when they were growing up that they were smart? More than half of them raised their hand. That stopped them. They were told they were smart, so they shouldn't have to work hard. Because of that, if they failed a test, they would say, oh, I'm just not good in that. They would stop working in that class, and then they failed the class. They also, they would just shut down and then stop going to class and that kind of thing. So this emphasizing learning and development matters because everybody hits these challenges. So how do we work on talking about mindset and hitting these challenges and working through those challenges. Not saying that we don't need to acknowledge the challenges, but how do we acknowledge them and then start to move from them? Also, we see that growth mindset helps with social skills. So young people with more of a growth mindset can feel fewer social pressures, can handle negative experiences more effectively, again, because they're not seeing challenges as a stopping point. They also work harder to improve their relationship with others because they see that there can be a change with that. So, yet is the most powerful word in growth mindset. So, what are we hate it. But he loves it. So I need to get better at it and play with him sometimes and not complain about how dizzy I am. So this, I have many yets in my life, but this is one of those. So if I think about it, instead of, I'm just not good at Mario Kart. He gets annoyed. It's like one of the only games he plays that I can kind of keep up with. But if I think about it as Mario Kart is, I'm gonna get better at it. I'm not good at it yet. I do a little bit better. I beat him once, only once. I generally lose to him. Sometimes I do a little bit better. So what's your yet? I have many professional ones, just not sharing those at the moment. But what is your yet? What is that thing that you want to do better at? Yes?
Put a better ponytail on my daughter's hair for school.
Okay. You're good there. Not there. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? What's your yet?
Making family connections.
Awesome. And is it less intimidating to think about it as a yet instead of I don't, or, right? Like, does it make it feel more realistic that way?
Yes.
Good. Cool. I find it helps me too with things. Think about it as yet. So here's some examples from the world of work. Is I'm so bad at interviewing. Can we shift that to I'm not good at interviewing yet? So when I talk with people, younger professionals who are looking for jobs or whatever, I feel like there sometimes is this attitude that they're supposed to enjoy it. No. It is not pleasant. It's really hard, right? Putting yourself out there. It's like your walking heart is walking around. It's hard. So can we shift some of this stuff into yet and acknowledge it's hard? I can't network. Nobody likes it. But can we think about it in terms of like acting? I can't network yet, or I can't have that conversation yet and build on it. Who was ever gonna hire me? I haven't been hired yet. I don't have any skills. You do, let's name them. Let's name those strengths that they have. Also, we are building skills. I don't have the skills for that yet. I can't do all of this work. That's where I go into fixed mindset. I can't do all of it. Okay, but I can start. I can't do all of it yet. So are there other ones that you think about, that you hear, that you could shift more towards yet? Anyone? Okay. Something to keep in mind. All right, get a pen and paper. We're gonna write. You do not have to share what you're gonna write with somebody, okay?
Hello, hello. Hello. Hello.
See, sometimes I ask people to take their phones, but then I worry that I'll get lost.
Hello?
I'll lose you in your phone. So if you have pen and paper, let's do that. So what is something that is particularly challenging for you right now? Write it down. I'll give you an example and maybe it helps, okay? I'm not a timed person. I'm not good at it. I was gonna get here at noon, I got here at 12:40, okay? I'm not good at time. I'm not good at time management. Time is my thing. I'm a mom, work is really busy, right? I feel like work for so many people has shifted, particularly in the past month or two, that we are stretched thin. So many people, right? So time is a big thing for me right now. So time management is my thing. This can be that you want to apply to go back to school. This can be that you want to work on a relationship with somebody. It can be anything, something that is challenging you right now that you are stuck in. Just give me a wave when you have one. Thank you. One more time. Can you wave if you have one? Okay. I'm going to move along and maybe it'll help you as well. Okay? Now, and I will give you examples. When you think about that thing, what are your beliefs about your ability to do that thing? Some examples. Time management. So when I got married, I have to tell you this first. So when I got married, we had a very specific start time to our wedding and we had to stick to it. And so one of my best friend's dads made fun of me and he was like, I cannot believe that you are actually sending something out that is telling people they can't be late. Late all the time. Okay, so time management. When I think about time management, when I get stuck and there's so much that I have to do, I think, I'll never get it all done. If I can't get it all done, why try? Then I sit. I used to manage my time well, that is true. I can't stay focused. So what is that thing that you're stuck on? And what are those things that you think, subconsciously or subconsciously, that keep you from moving on it? And write them down. If anybody has questions, just let me know.
Well, I want to talk to my daughter about something, but I'm afraid that if I do, she will shut down on me. And so I'm trying to work out a way that I can talk to her where she may be not only conducive to listening, but conducive to saying, okay, yes, but I won't shut down on you, Dad.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to go with this model for a second. So when you think about that, you're concerned that she will shut down on you. That's what's stopping
Yes.
you from moving with it.
Right.
Okay, let's hold that for a minute and we'll come back. Okay, thank you. Can you give me a little wave if you have written those things down? Okay. I'm gonna move ahead. Okay, next, you have some beliefs written down. Most of those usually don't get us moving. Most of those are usually beliefs that are holding us back from moving forward on that thing. Relationships are tricky, right? It's different than me getting stuck in my head on time management. I just need to start doing something. Right? So with what you wrote down, you want to circle the beliefs that you wrote that are helping you, cross out the beliefs that are holding you back. So going back to mine, I'll never get it all done. It's not helping me. If I can't get it all done, why try? Not helping me. I used to manage my time well. This is helpful to me because I know I have to tap into what I used to do. I can't stay focused. That doesn't help me. So these things that I cross out don't help me. That one thing does a little bit. Is there a way to take one of these that's holding you back and think about it a little bit more positively? Again, we don't have to shift this mindset into sunshine and rainbows from, I'll never get it all done. So I can get it all done because it's not realistic. Okay? Is there a way to shift these negatives into a slightly more positive, or to think about it as a yet? Okay? So, you want to pick one of those things that's holding you back, write the opposite of it. Okay? So, a bit more positive is that I can get a lot done if I focus. Then we're going to think about the actions that you can take to try to make that happen. So what I can do, my biggest, is that I work from home, everybody. So I'm just like in my house. Nobody's seeing that I'm on my phone when I'm on my phone. I put it away. I need to put it away, and it helps me. I have to make a priority list, and I have to get up and walk around during the day. Those things help me. So can you take a belief that is holding you back, think about it a little bit more positively, and then write down at least one action that you can take based on thinking about that a little bit more positively. Sarah said, is it helpful if we come back to you? Or do you want to leave it?
No, we can go back.
Go back? Again, it depends on the relationship. Does this help at all? Do you want some thoughts?
It does.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
People are tricky. People are tricky.
Yeah.
Anybody have thoughts for him? So many, right? Go ahead.
A gentle approach?
I think sometimes depending on like their approach, your approach and checking where she's at as far as conversation wise, kind of makes a difference of how that conversation can go.
And yeah, so a gentle approach. And is there a way to think about it as yet? That we don't have to cover everything, but we can start with a gentle approach and not cover everything, but like just kind of chip away at it.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing where her mindset is at the time too.
Yeah, right.
Because if she's mad, you don't want to bring up a sensitive conversation that's like, pivotal at the time to, trigger her in other ways. So
Yes.
we want to make sure that she's in a safe place mentally to be able to have a conversation.
Yes.
And that's what concerns me. I'll open up a little bit more. My daughter, I think you can hear me. I got a big mouth. My daughter smokes. and her mother smoked, and her mother died from smoking. But I smoked at the same time too. But stopped some years later. And what concerns me is her smoking around my granddaughter. But my daughter is not the most receptive person when, you know, you tell about things. She, you know, because she'll come back and say, well, you used to smoke.
Right.
You know, you smoked around me. You know, she'll do things like that.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I believe that, you know, when you start to grow and you start to get rid of bad habits, there's also a growth process that hopefully will help you in a number of different ways.
Sure.
Better health,
Yep.
you know, maybe a longer life, you know. But some people are just not, you know, and she's kind of like that. She's just, you know, it's like, you know, I've tried, and she'll come back with, you know, I've tried, I did this, I did that, I don't know, you know, that kind of stuff, you know.
Yep. It's hard, right?
And
Yeah.
Dad, I don't want to talk about this right now, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No.
It's hard to change habits. It's hard to,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. So anybody else have thoughts on it? Gentle approach, reading the room if she's talking about it. Maybe just slowly.
Take accountability for the things that you've done that wasn't maybe aware at that time in raising.
Yeah.
But knowing it's a different time and this is what it is.
Yes.
Or making in that kind of approach.
Sure,
And
sure.
just saying, hey, I'm sorry for even doing that for you because it was wrong, but because I didn't know and different, you know, it's a different time that we live in.
Yeah.
You know, things are more susceptible to whatever and just, you know, taking on that kind of aspect.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, acknowledging, right? Things have changed, information has changed, research has changed. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. I hope you're able to make some company. It's a hard thing, right?
Tough stuff.
Yeah. Does anybody have an example that they'd like, one more example, anybody have one more that you'd like to share with this? It's not perfect, obviously, but sometimes it helps. Yes.
Organizing different affairs in my life.
Uh-huh.
So that's been a struggle for me, maybe because the blockage of smaller things that I'd be more receptive to
Yep.
than the important things that I have to conquer
Got it.
eventually.
Yep. Yeah. We can get stuck in the small stuff, right? There's so much of it, so much of it. If anybody worked on this and you want me to check in on you in a few weeks to see how you're doing, I'm happy to be your accountability buddy. I'll put my email address, will come back up here, just email me, I'll check in on you. We all need accountability buddies. All right, time management. Last one. Let's say 5 more minutes, I'll be done, and get on your weekend. Okay, so mentoring mindset, right? The last part that we're going to talk about is communal. That the young people that we're working with, or whoever we're thinking about, right? This is not just applicable to young people. That we are in this with them. We're helping them to build a community. There's an organization called the Christensen Institute that, if you Google Christensen Institute, you'll find them. They do a ton of research. They do great research. Some of their research focuses on building social capital. What they have found, and what we know to be true, right, through all of our experience, is that we start building social capital when we're in elementary school or younger. We start building social capital by existing in the world. And we are creating webs of support for ourselves, just don't call them that, when we're in elementary school. We also know, sorry, we also know that as we get older, that learning and acknowledging who is a part of our web of support, also broadening those webs of support are really important as we move ahead in life and as we want to take on new jobs or whatever that is. So, I lost it, okay. So I have two different ways to think about social capital, if this is helpful for you at all. So, what you can have young people do is think about themselves, their goals, their skills, their interests, whatever is applicable to you. If you want me to send you these slides, just come on up at the end, give me your email address, I'll send them. So you have a student write about their goals, their interests, whatever it is that they want to do. Then you want them to think about who they have in their life that they consider a support. So this can be, are they connected at church? Is there somebody at church that they really can lean on? Is there a teacher they really can lean on? It can be parents for some kids. It can also be, extended family, whoever it is. Have them think about their goals, who they have in their lives that support them. Okay? And then, if there are not people in their lives who can support them, are you or somebody else that you work with able to make connections for them? So I had a student that was a part of a career program that we did at Mentor New York. She was really interested in becoming a professor. And we talked about a lot of different people she had in her life. And then she said, you know what, one of my uncles is a professor. And she just hadn't thought about it in that way, and wasn't also particularly close to him. But after that conversation, then she decided to reach out to him. So sometimes just having these intentional conversations can help us to think about people that we hadn't thought about before. The second way to do this, you can also just kind of have other spokes out of what I just showed you, is to have somebody write, or you all do it. If we had more time, we would all do this for ourselves. So write one goal that they want to achieve in the next however many months. They write the actions, or we write the actions that we have to take to achieve those goals, and then write somebody who can help them on those. So again, just to get them thinking about, I didn't know what social capital meant until I was in grad school. So like, when I was 35. So like, let's think this, we're teaching about these webs of support and teaching about expanding social capital as young. All right, everybody, 4 areas of mentoring mindset. First is intentional. How do we show up that the young people know that we see them, or we create spaces for them to show up in the ways that they are comfortable and to share with us what they want to share with us. The next part of this is supportive, that we are there for them. We are fully present with them, and we're sharing power with them. That was when we did the tiny teaching each other things, learning from each other. The next part is developmental, where we talked about strengths-based approach to anyone, also growth mindset, and we did that activity. Lastly is communal, where we lean into social capital, recognizing webs of support, and also expanding those webs of support. Here's my website. If you want me to check in on you on something you're working on, please email me. That QR code hopefully goes to our website. If you want to learn more about us, please go there. As I said, I usually do a webinar once a month. I don't have any for this summer, but I'll start up again in September. We currently have federal funding, who knows? We have federal funding that we offer no-cost consulting to organizations to either start something that is mentoring or mentoring-like, enhance the work you're doing, or to provide training. So if that is of interest, please don't hesitate to reach out. Can we stop the recording?
Sure.
Thanks.